Hey, what is going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all something I don't typically make videos on, but I've had several different requests on covering this here, and it's not as straightforward as I would really expect it to be, but it's still quite easy to do. I'm going to be showing you all if you have a modified PS3, that means if you have custom firmware or if you have PS3HEN, how you can revert it back to stock by installing an official firmware, therefore unmodifying it. Now, it is as simple as installing the original official firmware. However, we do have to take an extra step or two in this as well. So for anybody who's wanting to do this, who wants to return to a stock state of some kind, you're more than welcome to check this video out. Although do keep in mind that once you install this official firmware, you will have to go through the entire jailbreaking process yet again, whether that means using PS3 exploits tools or using a hardware flasher to modify your system. So be sure this is something that you want to do. So first of all, you will need your PlayStation 3, as you can see right here. This is a custom firmware PS3, it has all of my homebrew and all that fun stuff on here, and you can tell from App Home PS3 game, which is definitely not on a stock system. I'm currently running 4.86 rebug, so I'm going to install 4.86 official firmware on this. So for this, we will need our PS3, we're also going to need a official PS3 controller, a mini USB cable to hook up to the system, as well as a USB flash drive to transfer over the update file. So if you have all of that on hand, let's go ahead, move over to our PC and grab our official update. Over at your PC, go ahead, grab your USB drive, and you will need to make sure it is formatted to FAT32. It has to be FAT32. And if you've messed around with the PS3 or you've jailbroken it or modified it in any way, you're probably pretty familiar with formatting to FAT32 on here. But either way, just for a quick format, I'm going to right click, format, FAT32, that's all okay. That is going to erase any data you care about off that drive, so make sure you've backed it up if you care about anything there. But once we have our USB drive set up, you'll need to go into the USB drive, create a new folder, in all uppercase, one word, call it PS3. And inside of the PS3 folder, you need to create a new folder called Update, one word, all uppercase. And inside of this update folder, you need to copy over your official firmware update. So here, I'm just going to revert back to 4.86 official firmware. You can right click, copy, and paste it into this folder directly. And it really doesn't matter which version you're going to be doing here. To keep it simple, you can stay on the same version, but again, you will need to make sure this is something you want to do. I know for a fact, 4.86, I can re-jailbreak this using software-only methods, which is why I'm doing this, but if you're using this same guide for a higher firmware, the process is the exact same. The last thing we need to do, if this has been renamed, is we must rename this file back to its original naming scheme. So for this, it has to be PS3Update, all one word, .pup. And if it doesn't look like this, what you need to do is on Windows, or just double check if you're using Windows, go to View, and tick File Name Extensions. Make sure that is enabled. So if you don't enable it, you might just see PS3 Update, but if you do enable it, you'll see the full name here. So again, this is how it needs to look. You'll be in your USB drive, PS3 folder, update folder, PS3Update.pup. And once you have that all set up, right click, eject your USB drive, and we're going to take this over to our PS3. Alright, so at the PS3, you will need to make sure you have your controller on hand and a mini USB cable to plug it in, because we're going to be booting into recovery mode. And the reason why we're going to do this is because PS3HEN, as well as many other custom firmwares, if you go to Settings, System Update, and do Update via Storage Media, there's actually protections in place there a lot of the time. So even if you try to update your system to official firmware, you might actually get an error, and that is the custom firmware preventing you from accidentally flashing a official firmware and unjailbreaking your system. However, we are going to be bypassing that here by using recovery mode, because again, the intent of this video is to install official firmware. So for that, make sure your USB drive is plugged in, make sure you're ready to plug in your PS3 controller, and turn off your system. For the recovery mode process, you want to hold down the power button to turn on your PS3 and don't let go until it turns back off. Then hold down the power button yet again and release it when you hear 2 quick beeps together. After that, you can let go of the power button and you should be in recovery mode. Alright, so once you're in recovery mode, you should see this screen and just follow the instructions. Hook up your controller, press the PlayStation button. Now make sure your USB drive is plugged in and go all the way down to System Update. Press X, and now we're going to have to press Start and Select at the same time. And again, make sure this is absolutely what you want to do. This is going to unjailbreak your system. And in order to get your mods and backups and all that stuff back, you must re-jailbreak your system following the entire jailbreaking process. Since I know this is what I want to do, I'm going to press Start and Select at the same time and let it do its checking. After a few moments, it's going to prepare the update for you, so just let it prepare and reboot. When your console reboots and is ready to update, press the PlayStation button as it says, and it's going to do another check. From here, go ahead, agree to the licensing, press X, and this is the point where it is now installing your official firmware and unjailbreaking your system. So just let it finish up and reboot yet again. So there we go. Once your console goes through the initialization process after coming out of recovery mode, you should have a successfully unjailbroken PS3. Now you might be saying, oh, well, you still have all this homebrew here. That is correct because it doesn't delete any of that data. We can't use any of these applications, but they're still going to be here. And of course, you're seeing the package manager, app home, webman, none of that stuff is here, but I can assure you my PS3 has successfully been unjailbroken. And just to even check that, I can run, let's try Multiman, for example. How about this? And as you can see, we got an error because we cannot launch any homebrew on this. So if this is really bugging you, you can go in and delete these here. That's completely up to you. But that is about it for this process. The only big gotcha there is that you do have to boot into recovery mode to really guarantee, so to speak, that you're going to be able to install an official firmware, just in case you have some protections in place on your system. But either way, that is the process. That is how you unmodify your system and revert it back to stock official firmware. Hopefully this video helped out. I'm now going to spend the time immediately after this jailbreaking the system yet again because I don't want it to be unjailbroken. But either way, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would absolutely be appreciated, and if you didn't like it, a dislike is fine as well too.